All right, Fiona, let's go to the bathroom.
No.
Let's fly to our nest. Let's go. Cuckoo, cuckoo.
All right, so while it's a little bit definitely humorous and play-based, you can give us a little bit of a background as to why this might be a helpful thing to do for the kiddo if they're struggling with a transition.
Yeah, so, let's say Fiona here, she loves birds, it's a high preferred, she loves dinosaurs. We can almost redirect her attention to that transition of being more fun and play-based and add some imaginary play in there to kind of get some of those same outcomes. So that's a strategy that we use, and of course that individual's preference really should be reflecting in how you're redirecting that behavior and trying to get that same result. So
that is something I see, everyone using so much in the clinic, and it pretty much works like every time. So that's always fun. Next is sometimes maybe during a task, maybe even during play or a DTT session, the kiddo is kind of struggling or getting a little bit frustrated. So she's going to show us some things on how we can calm the kiddo down. So, all right.
Oh, Fiona, it looks like you're upset. Here, can you count with me? 1, 2, nice.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Wow, awesome job. Let's go.
Okay.
So coping skills, right? It's a hot topic. I think that we've all heard that term being used. A few tips and tricks with coping skills is you don't want to just practice them in a situation where the person's already upset, right? It's that common, like, you're so frustrated and then your spouse looks at you and is like, you need to calm down. Like, you are not going to calm down in that moment. You are going to be more frustrated, right? So it's really important to teach these skills in ways that your body will just naturally calm down. So, breathing, deep breathing. Again, if you're working with a kid, please try to make this fun. Counting, blowing bubbles, sometimes redirection can be beneficial. But you want to practice these skills outside of these situations first. So the client builds that history of engaging in these tasks, not just when they're already really upset. Sometimes it is good to kind of label their feelings. This helps in a few different ways. One, it helps them to be able to identify and express themselves when they're frustrated. Hey, it looks like you're frustrated. So then they're pairing, that feeling with that word, which will help develop language. And it just shows some empathy, right? Yeah. Like, I recognize that you in this moment might need a little support, and I'm here with you in that moment to try to help you through it. So we chose counting. That really helps to kind of redirect your attention and focus onto something else, which can help calm you down. That might not always work for every learner. So again, this is always individualized. You need to base on what the kiddo's preferences are. Sometimes listening to music or asking for music can be beneficial. Singing, we have a lot of kids here that singing does the trick almost every time. So it just really depends. So sometimes breathing, and again, we can blow fire like a dragon. Lots of fun ways that we can kind of get that same result. Behaviors that we're looking to target. A lot of time there's what we call a precursor behavior. So it's something that happens right before the behavior. So it might be like, oh, I'm so frustrated. And then they might go into property destruction or self-injurious behavior, right? But that behavior right before was, I'm so frustrated. So if we can intervene when we're here, we're still escalating, we're frustrated, and we do something that's going to help them kind of go down that staircase, it's super beneficial, because we all know sometimes when we're here, It's a lot harder to redirect. It's a lot harder of a spot to get that individual calm. You usually have to do a lot of waiting when we're up here, in maintaining safety. So if we can catch, that frustration at that precursor level, and they're more likely to respond to some of those techniques too, to kind of help them go down that staircase. So we all know individuals with autism, their brain is wired so differently. So I think it's really helpful to acknowledge that the way they integrate their sensory experiences, the way they respond to their environment, all those things are a lot different. They use a lot more of their brain capacity in different ways and those connections than we do. So it's more likely to see them getting, commonly known as overstimulated, right? Maybe the lights or the noises or things that we're not even attending in our environment might be occurring to that individual that makes it harder to tolerate the additional things that are challenging for anyone, right? Like a kid taking your toy, or kind of doing things that are less preferred. So I think it's always helpful to recognize. I know we use a lot of tools here for our kids. A lot of kids have that noise canceling headphones that can be beneficial to drown out the noise. We have rooms where the lights are dimmed to help support. We have areas where kids can go where it's significantly more quiet. Starting off with teaching them that everything that the child's doing is a form of communication, right? So if the client is holding his hands on their ears, or you have a client that keeps running underneath tables, right? Those are cues that they're overstimulated and they might need a little more support. So we might go in and teach them to request for their headphones, or model what that could look like. Oh, it looks like you want headphones, or touching the icon in the AC. Oh, it looks like you want headphones, and then providing those headphones to them. Or it looks like you want to go in another room, and modeling that language, and then taking them into the other room. Running under the table, it might be an opportunity for them to request for a blanket that you can even put over the table. Or we have what we call the rainbow donut, and it's like a big mat that's a circle, and a lot of kids like to hang out in there, and we put a blanket over them. Some kids, they might take your hand and they might start pinching it or squeezing it, or they might, take your hand and put it on their head, right? So they're communicating in so many ways of some of those sensory pieces that they need. And so it's a matter of honoring that communication and supporting them, but also working on other ways to communicate that, so maybe it's more universal. We do QBS here. It's this really beautiful safety care training. It was actually designed by BCBAs as well, so it's helpful. They focus heavily on de-escalation. That's kind of where I got the staircase reference too, because that's the number one thing is just keeping people safe. And it does teach you, okay, if you have someone that is biting you, or biting another, or biting themselves or another client, what's the safest way to get them to release? Obviously, number one is stop biting them, right? You give the simple request, give them an opportunity to stop. But if they don't respond to that, right, there are different things that we can do to get them to release. The kids running out into the road, the biggest thing I see from just people in general, they grab the hand and they're like yanking it back. Well, that's not great for your joints, right? There's a safer way for their body to be redirected. So we teach our staff those protocols, and if a client does have that in their plan, let's say, they are known to engage in biting either on themselves or on other people, and then we make sure our staff is not only trained on how to do it, but we do reoccurring training so that they feel comfortable, because if you don't use this skill very often, you might lose it. And anytime we do any sort of physical intervention, we do an incident report. We have the parents sign off on it, so they're aware that what had occurred that day and have an opportunity to ask any questions. So yeah, so imitation is a huge one. It is such a big foundational skill, and I try to explain it to everyone. When you're in a situation at work, or maybe you're going snowboarding for the first time, don't recommend it as an adult, you'll probably hurt yourself, but you're trying a brand new skill. What do? You watch other people and you try to copy them. When you learn a skill, that is usually what is required. You are watching some form of that skill being modeled, whether it's video or it's like a physical person, right? And you're trying to copy it. So that is all in all what imitation skills are, is that you're observing and copying. So the reason why, in the practice of ABA that we teach that so heavily is because it is a foundational skill to be able to teach that learner more skills in a more independent way. Our goal is that we don't, have to physically prompt anything, right? And if you're looking at the person doing the skill, then you're able to replicate it without some of those more intensive interventions. So,
So then basically it's teaching them how to learn, kind of.
Yeah, in a less intrusive way.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can figure it out in a more independent way. That's exciting too. You're like, oh yeah, I got this. I can do this skill. And obviously we're going to celebrate that. And imitation skills are all different forms, right? Sometimes in ABA we track spontaneous imitation, which is, just that child's doing that all by themselves, right? We might be doing a song at group and there's hand motions and they're looking around and they're just copying and going along, which is the end goal. Some kids were working on imitation with objects. So during play, like pressing the button, to make it light up, and then they're pressing the button, and or we do it with more of those one-step instructions. So sometimes we might say, do this, and then they do it and they're like, wow, that is clapping your hands. So then you're also being able to pair that action with that reinforcement, so they start like, oh, I know what this is now, it's clapping my hands. Yeah. And it kind of expedites to learning some of those one-step instructions. And then I think the reason why you see those skills here a lot too is because we really try to balance mastered skills. 80% when we're going to the table, we're doing things that the client knows, and then 20% are things that they're learning. So we want to make sure those table time and experience, they're meeting a lot of reinforcement. They're like, yeah, I'm awesome, I got all these skills, and then we throw in the harder ones and make sure that we're providing a lot of praise and reinforcement, so we're able to learn the harder skills too and not feel discouraged. Yeah, we want to make sure that those skills are generalizing, so that's really important. You can use different objects in looking for the same response. So let's say maybe we're practicing at DTT, them identifying a picture of an apple, right? Well, in the net, in the natural environment, we're going to be at the play kitchen and be like, I'm so hungry. I really want an apple. Can you find me an apple? Mm-hmm. And then the child finds the apple, right? And maybe we've made it a little bit easier and we've removed all the other fruits and there's only an apple available, and we're like, oh, I need an apple, or I'm so hungry, and then they hand the apple to you. So it just giving you those more opportunities to relate what you're learning at the table, right? Those skills, you want to be able to apply them across in more meaningful ways too. So we always want to kind of target those in goal setting.